Hello. The purpose of the presentation is to explore playful attitudes in the context of a Finnish university consortium in order to develop a multifunctional and communal play space for the use of research and teaching personnel. The presentation highlights how a mental predisposition towards adult playfulness may be employed in development and design of a physical university space intended for a multidisciplinary research and teaching community. The presentation builds on the theoretical framework, combining earlier research ideas of play seen as ingrained in everyday life, in adult life, and playful physical space, and explains how meanings and associations made with play were used as a starting point for materializing playfulness. In other words, developing a social play space for a multidisciplinary research community. Playful attitudes provide a framework for the creation of a space that enables its users to engage in play as an activity. The elements of playfulness, as theorized by, for example, Lieberman, such as enjoyment, relaxation, fantasy, and inspiration as facets of playfulness, are formalized into material equivalents in the design of the space. The main contribution of the presentation is to illustrate how to combine playful attitudes with the design of a social shared play environment and how material objects within this space can cater for play as a multidimensional activity. Meet the researchers. Annika Blomberg, on the right-hand side, holds a PhD in business administration, works as a postdoctoral researcher in management and organization at Turku School of Economics, University of Turku, Pori unit in Finland. Her doctoral dissertation examined in 2016 dealt with organizational creativity, and her current research interests include organizational creativity, collaboration, creative physical space, and knowledge-intensive work and organizations. And on the left-hand side, Doctor of Arts, toy researcher and visual artist Katriina Heljakka, who holds a postdoctoral position at the University of Turku Digital Culture Studies. Her doctoral dissertation on adult playfulness in contemporary toy cultures in visual culture for the Aalto University was examined in 2013. Heljakka currently studies toys and the visual, material, digital and social cultures of play and leads Pori Laboratory of Play as a research manager and designer of multidisciplinary playful interventions. Her current research interests include playful spaces, the emerging toyification of culture, toy design, and the hybrid and transgenerational dimensions of ludic practices. How we think about play.
Meitä kiinnostaa aikuisten suhde leikkiin, koska leikin teoriassa ja sen ympärillä pyörivissä keskusteluissa on puhuttu kulttuurin leikillistymisestä. Ja tämä leikillistyminen tulee ilmi paitsi siinä, että nykypäivänä pelataan yhä enemmän, niin nykypäivänä leikki tunkeutuu myös muille osa-alueille kuin perinteisesti lasten maailmaan. Käytännössä tämä tarkoittaa sitä, että maailma leikillistyy eri tavoin. Maailma myös viihteellistyy, mutta leikki ei ole ainoastaan pelaamista. Eli leikkiessään ihmiset tekevät paljon muutakin kuin pelaavat sääntöjen mukaan. Leikkiin sisältyy ääripäät. Se voi olla sitä säännönmukaista pelaamista, mutta se voi olla myös vapaata ja hieman anarkististakin toimintaa. Ehkä sellaista myös aikuisilla, mitä me ajatellaan lasten maailmassa leikin olevan. Siinä missä lapsia pidetään tällaisina leikkityöläisinä, leikki on perinteisesti ajateltu olevan heidän työtään, niin nyt myös aikuiset leikkivät työssään tai työkseen jopa. Ja me ollaan erityisen kiinnostuneita siitä, miten tämä aikuinen leikki ilmenee tässä leikillistyvässä ajassa. Miten se ilmenee tällaisissa leikillisissä tiloissa, mutta miten se ilmenee myös vuorovaikutuksessa toisten ihmisten ja esineiden kanssa.
It has been argued that the beginning of the 21st century is undergoing a ludic turn. Ludification points then to the cultural development which makes the world more playful. We believe that ludification extends to the realm of designed working environments, as some of them are becoming increasingly playful in terms of use of their interiors, furniture, objects, and the cultures which develop around them. Despite a growing interest towards play in work, the linkage between adult playfulness and the materiality of design interiors dedicated for this purpose remain largely understudied within academic debates. To bridge this gap, this presentation explores the material manifestations of play-oriented design in the public environment of the academic workspace. Play as a human activity calls out for playful objects, such as furniture and equipment intended both for playing through bodily and mental movement. These objects intertwine with other elements of the interior, creating a space that invites to different realms of play activities. Renowned play scholar Brian Sutton Smith has argued that the 21st century will be the century of play. The so-called playification of culture also extends into indoor play environments and their design. Researchers Nummenmaa and companions write, as attitudes towards and beliefs about play cover a wide spectrum, it is essential that the suitability of a playful element for a specified target community can be evaluated in advance and modified accordingly. In our research, we can see how play has entered public built environments mainly through artistic endeavors such as participatory artworks. However, in the context of contemporary businesses, world-leading companies have been in the forefront of introducing elements traditionally associated with playfulness into their physical environments. For example, Google's offices around the world have been introduced with slides. However, looking back in the history of Finnish fairs, a slide was introduced as early as the summer of 1920. This presentation discusses findings from the work-in-progress study intersecting between space communication and the design of playful experiences. Our study presents a case study on environment design for academic professionals with the goal of designing and setting up a meaningful and social working environment. In other words, to design a space to help improve co-playing activities between personnel, researchers, and teachers. Researchers Nummenmaa and companions assert that there is a rising need to delve deeper into the attitudes towards play in different workplace contexts. In the first phase of our research, we invited a group of researchers and teaching personnel to participate in 2 workshops organized in order to map out the purpose of the research community area of digital culture responsible for the initiation of the design of the communal play space within the university consortium. The second of the 2 workshops was interested in the physical aspects of the upcoming social playscape. The participants of the workshops were encouraged to generate and share ideas which elements are necessary in designing and establishing a social play space within a university consortium. Based on the workshop materials, the main objectives of the social play space were set. First of all, the researchers and teaching personnel considered the area of digital culture responsible of setting up the play space to have a playful and experimental research approach. It was said that the aim is to create a functional work and play space. First, a creative workspace and living lab for researchers, and second, a space that students are allowed to use occasionally. It was argued that the space needs to enable recreational moments. It needs to be a multifunctional and modular space, inviting to play, to move oneself, to do things, participate, and engage socially. The place should also be easily approachable, open, perceivable, and transparent. It should be inspirational, and it should not be a museum. It should represent controlled chaos. In the second phase of research, some 80+ participants, including university personnel, teachers, researchers, professors, and management, were invited to engage with an indoor playground adjacent to the University Consortium facilities, including slides, trampolines, ride-on toys, and other play equipment. The empirical material of our study consists of survey responses, photographs, and video recordings, and it was gathered during a 2-week period in spring 2019. The survey inquired attitudes towards playfulness and play in adult life. The participants of the survey study identified play as a state of mind or a quality of things or people. They described it with words such as apathy, joylessness, seriousness or serious contemplation, sulking, boredom, being bored, boring things, stiffness, doing what feels forced, routines and rationality, humorlessness, matter-of-factness, discipline, and responsibility. They also identified play or playfulness as passivity, that is, doing nothing, being idle, sleeping, reading a book, or watching TV. Furthermore, the participants identified play as an activity that relates to work and studies, studying, working, cramming, performing, mechanical, monotonous work, everyday work. Moreover, the participants associated playing with the imaginary, self-expression, entertainment, health and well-being, societal and cultural, learning, to be valued, a leisure activity, a work activity, and something that is lifelong. To guide the design of Pori Laboratory of Play, we developed a model for materializing playfulness in a social play space. According to the work in progress model, we can look at the elements of playfulness such as enjoyment, relaxation and well-being, fantasy, and inspiration as starting points to design different modalities such as visual, tactile, oral, and mobile elements in the space. Based on these ideas and insights, the social play space called Pori Laboratory of Play was designed and set up at the University Consortium in Pori, Finland. Let's take a look at the finished play space, Pori Laboratory of Play. To summarize, the results of this study, including research materials from the initial workshops and the survey data, were translated into recommendations for interpreting conceptions of playfulness into furniture, fixtures, and finished materials in our model for materializing playfulness. Currently, the space features elements that provide visual, tactile, and mobile stimuli. A swing, gimbals, and wall bars will provide enjoyment for movement of the body. Custom-made and movable shelf elements with inbuilt places to rest in will cater for relaxation. Giant coloring cubes function as an example of toys and play material for creative play, and the color scheme offers inspiration. Further, for an atmospheric and energizing effect, the play space is designed with both two-dimensional and three-dimensional elements associated with spatial fantasy play, a wall tapestry depicting a lush forest environment, and a carpet featuring bold graphics of flowers and butterflies. Potential avenues for future research include long-term research on psychological well-being effects of the material elements of playfulness in a social play space such as the one described in this presentation. The work continues. Our presentation ends here. Thank you so much for your interest.